It's easy to understand the appeal in escaping to the wilderness and leaving humanity behind. Gone are the regular worries of daily life, the concerns of living up to people's expectations, and your personal, family, or work issues. That's exactly what Henry does when he takes a job as a fire lookout in the wilderness of Nebraska. With only a voice on the end of a radio to keep you company, it's time to escape the rush of life. Firewatch is essentially a walking simulator, but unlike others that don't give you much, if anything, to do, you're Henry as he finds his way through his new job. You're in the middle of a national forest in Wyoming, and your every decision has a consequence, from what you decide to do with the most mundane items to how you treat and talk to other people. It's all about being human, making connections, and making decisions. You're greeted with a choose-your-own story at the very start as they introduce you to Henry and his wife Julia. What did you say to her when you first met? What type of dog did you get? How did you deal with her coming in drunk at 1 a.m.? These small choices impact the latter part of the story, and larger decisions will impact conversations that you have with Delilah, your supervisor and the only person that you talk to. This may seem like a spoiler for me to say, but it always seems to happen in these stories. Julia starts suffering from early onset Alzheimer's, and your decision in the text-based introduction will decide whether she is in a care home in Boulder, Colorado, or whether her parents take the decision out of your hands and take her to Australia. From the very start, you feel the human element of Firewatch, the impact of even the smallest of words, and how it moves from leaving you with a smile on your face to being downright sad. You'll spend a big chunk of your Firewatch experience completing what may seem like small and insignificant tasks. Delilah will tell you your job for the day, which will vary from doing things like picking up supplies or just simply watching. On your first day, Delilah spots smoke and sends you out to investigate it. You run into two abusive teenage girls skinny dipping in the lake. Delilah has a laugh when you tell her about their panties on the radio. Do you have a go with them? Are you polite? The game never tells you, but you can even pick up their stereo and throw it in the water, destroying it. Lots of choices mean lots of consequences. These simple, seemingly mundane tasks surround the mystery that begins when you head back to your tower after dealing with the girls. You see a figure watching you, even though Delilah's sure that there's no one else in the forest. You get back to your tower and it's completely wrecked. The next day the phone line is cut. Who did this? The mysteries of Firewatch only build, and the conversations with Delilah only add to it, as you can literally hear the concern in her voice as she tries to figure out what's happening. And this is where Firewatch excels. Voices can be used to convey so much without having to be blunt. A quiver here, a lower in a pitch there. Anything and everything you can think of can be expressed in just a voice. And Firewatch has some of the best voice acting we've ever heard, and the script manages to be mature without the need for tired cliches or needless profanity. These are conversations that you expect to hear from real adults, and any abusive language that's used is something that, if left out, would diminish how real the conversations feel. As a result, chatter on the radio is excellent. Delilah is always there on the other end of the radio to help you out, explain what you don't understand, and cheer you up, even if she has to use a wisecrack or a joke at your expense to do it. You have more than enough chances to respond, making for some excellent back and forth banter. It's really worth the time to simply get her talking about the most mundane of things, like a tree that has scratch marks on it or a medicine wheel. These conversations will build or break your relationship, which is more than tested as the mysteries of the forest plague you. When the conversations aren't happening is when Firewatch is at its most serene, but later also at its most tense. It's easy to see how lonely and vulnerable you can be in the middle of nowhere when you aren't alone and the only other person is clearly not friendly. These are scenes that are done extremely well with the use of lighting and audio. It's almost impossible to not find it scary when the only sound is the rustling of trees and bushes as you walk through the trees with a little light, sure that somebody is following you. Navigating isn't the most difficult of things to do. You'll find the areas are closed off until you reach the appropriate section of the game, although there are small areas that you can explore. Beyond a few secrets here and there, there's really not a great deal of things that will interest you. What works in the game's favor is that it never holds your hand or forces you down a linear path, and this allows you to explore. Even using the map and compass provided, we found ourselves getting lost a few times. But these times were also when we saw some of the most outstanding scenery, complemented by vivid colors and downright wonderful art design. In the 6 hours it took to finish the first playthrough, we took 210 screenshots, not to mention the 18 shots that you can take with a disposable camera found within the game. These 18 photos offer a nice surprise on completion because they scroll with the credits alongside the images in the camera that have already been used, enhancing the conclusion of the story, as well as linking to an external site where you can order prints of them for $15 with free shipping. Firewatch is a very difficult game to assess in many ways. The ending, without giving too much away, will be underwhelming to almost everybody. At the same time, we would argue that it's also the most logical end that could have been given to the events that happen. It further links into the overall theme of humanity, choices, and consequences. It left us with a sense of realization, seeing all the clues around us in a different light, but also left us with a sadness that we didn't expect that we would feel. It's a perfect example of what developers can do when they bring together excellent storytelling, characters, and dialogue. A simple yet impactful story that will stay with you long after you turn the game off, and one that you'll want to come back to so you can explore different paths and find the clues and secrets that you may have missed the first time. We gave it a 9.2.